a lot of my performance, a lot of my pieces are inspired by, like writers write what they know. So, I write about my experiences, my hopefully unique yet still relatable worldview, and my identity as a Black Muslim growing up in the United States and elsewhere. This first piece is called Soul. There's a reason it's called soul. We take the pain and put it into the process like the blues of food, using our spirit to paint the picture, connecting with the universal groove so we never quite fit into the world of men. Always behind in the race to the top dollar, but at the end of the day, it's apparent we'll win honest because the first will be last and the last will be first. And what would you rather have, the heavens or the earth? For now, we got soul. Wary of claiming covenant with God, assuring access to heaven, we compete with indigenous people and Jews for whose straws are shorter. A slow, painful race of the masochistic macabre, meekly miring in the sorrow of this world at the promise of a posthumous prize for our faith. We hope and pray and wait. Bated breath, expectant at the outcome of our collective fate, because there's still milk and honey and eternal bliss on level 1 of the 7. That's why it's called soul. The inspiration for mothers and grandmothers and aunties and cousins to tell us to seek justice rather than revenge, even when their sons and daughters are stolen from them, whether by those misguided and corrupted souls in their own community or a coward with a badge protected by sadistic state immunity. They know that there's more to be lost when you take rather than forgiving, that we should be cautious of the hate we give little infants and children. They advise us with an eye towards peace and harmony in the realm beyond the living. The same reason why young men who've only known struggle and death never leave the house without crosses around their neck, or saying the Lord's Prayer while loading up a tech, or say the Lord's Prayer while loading up a tech, or why they're so adamant about getting their due respect. Crapola. Sorry, y'all. The same reason why young men who've only known struggle and death never leave the house without a cross around their neck, or saying the Lord's Prayer while loading up a tech, or why they're so adamant about getting their due respect. To live in the womb of a world that despises and rebukes you is a harrowing test. That's why it's called soul. We weren't cursed with the cunning to conquer the globe. We aren't disillusioned enough to think that we're chosen. Through all we've endured, it's God's grace that keeps us sane and not hopeless. We make a science of submission to the Lord's vision, and sometimes we don't even know it. Even when we stray from the word, we stay tethered to one day return to the knowledge in our hearts. That's why it's called soul. So we pray for you, lay hands on you, feed you in silence, nourishing body and spirit, lest wanton words bring tears to the eyes. We put trust into the plants and herbs and berries and juices provided us on earth, as if akin to the sun-kissed skin that adorns our flesh, or if melanin was the physical evidence of the touch of God's breath. No, we are not quiet. We worship him out loud so everyone knows that we return to him in joy and in death. We hoop and holler and shout and dance and sing his praises. We huddle together in his houses, shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow, foot to foot, heart to heart, even if sometimes out of pure desperation. That's why we're most imitated, Grammy nominated, hotel accommodated, barbershop player hated. All of y'all bootlegged it, but we know who made it, and that's why it's called soul. So we sometimes find ourselves trapped on earth the same way our spirits are trapped in our bodies. We sometimes find ourselves trapped on earth the same way our spirits are trapped in our bodies, painfully aware of our temporal mortality. We know that the closer to God we get, the better we are. There is nothing that compares to what the courage that occurs in our hearts. That's why it's called soul. Thank you. Gosh, appreciate y'all. Like I was talking to Storm yesterday, and he was like, "Man, I got so much respect for spoken word artists, cause like I remember stuff cause it's on beat, and y'all just be going." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. It's hard sometimes." I like to surprise my wife with poetry. She's back there. I ain't gonna point her out. I ain't going point no elbows or nothing. But we've been married for almost a year now, 10 months. Woo! Oh, I love her so much. And this piece I performed at our wedding, and she didn't even know. Oh, hold on. Let me also say this. I wish I did, but I did not see her father's face when I said this first line. It's not as bad as it sounds like once you hear the rest of it, but the first y'all can get it. I love your tongue. I love the way it plays with mine. They wrap around each other and intertwine, inspired levels of linguistic consciousness approaching the divine. You mind your mind. Sublime lines diffuse from the fine, simple complexity of your psyche, finding ways to tie your soul to larger designs. Never tried enough to subject yourself to a forced rhyme. No, your tongue exists in a realm above. Please thank your mothers, the wonderful ones who crafted you into what you are. This shining beauty amidst the stars, they taught you to use your tongue in ways far more powerful than carnal death. In your capable mouth, it has become a weapon of garnering respect, a symbol of the irony of a conquering language being the vehicle for revolutionary threats. Your tongue transcends into eternity, deftly painting with the colors of the wind scenes of beauteous leaves swirling in the fall air, or more appropriate to your origins, sand dunes, mountains, and open sky, merging softly yet resolutely with red earth and white and yellow beaches. Salty sea air telling secrets of a shared land and its beautiful people. History occurred and lost, memories that see nor hear nor speak any evil, cursing pages of writ to an immortal dishonesty. Blood mixed betwixt the rhythmic hip shakes to low drum breaks and the high-handed claps and high-pitched throaty vibratos of celebration, and your tongue serves as the griot. As impressed as I am with your mouth, I'm even more attracted to what comes out. The pearls of your poetry place me upon the precipice of delicate existence, teetering. Grains of refuse serving as a muse, spun and reshaped into tales of precious beauty. They remind me that the life we live is commonplace, exceptional art. A continuous line giving shape to all sides, providing soothing resuscitation from afar. Please, thank your mothers. They taught you to dance, to sway, to pirouette, to unite power and grace in the rhythm of your lyrics and your steps, to embrace the earth and its creatures and show its due respect, to hold your head high even in the face of death. They taught you powerful names of knowing and wisdom and honor and glory to pass down to your children until the end of days. The value of people in all their various ways. They taught you to calculate fear and rage, to be so much more than demure, womanly, feminine, and sure of each step you take upon this earth. A queen in your own right. You don't need a crown to prove majesty. Your mothers taught you to live and love and fight and laugh in different languages, and for that, I owe them my life, my love, and after Allah, my everything. Oh man. So it's funny because like when we got engaged, close to 2 years ago now. Gosh, close to 2 years ago now. Man, time flies when you're married. When we got engaged, I had written a piece for her, and in that piece I talked about not writing love poems. Cause I feel like everybody does it, like everybody makes a song about love, and it gets like super trite, and like you have like these 12-year-olds like, I love him so much, and it's like, you're a child. You know nothing. So I've been very wary of writing love poems, but I got another one for you. Oh gosh, can I get some water? Like my mouth is suddenly like dry as hell. Sorry, guys. I should have thought of about that before I got on stage like Storm. You had like what, 3 glasses of water? Thank you so much. God, sorry guys. There we go. So much better. This that I didn't know I needed it till I got it. Stank breath and hot chips. Chilling in the car late night just vibing. Rapping about Team Rockets, the Houston Rockets, NASA Rockets, stock tips. J. Cole and Kendrick rocking on us, some rock'em sock'em robot tip. Arguing over who's iller type love. This that I give you the stars if I could. Celestial panhandling. Universe ever expanding. Gemini, 2 hearts in tandem. God damn, I can't stand them, but I wouldn't want no one else next to me in case of an extraterrestrial landing. Got a problem? I'll handle it. Old school swan handshakes with hand spit. Acting like the Twix overbar Twix sitting betwixt 2 chicks in the mix waiting on some ticks for a flick that we already seen 3 times, but we still got to see again type love. This that make things simple. Let's talk it out and cry if we need to. Lean on each other for introspection and reflection, especially when things get hectic. Always respectful, even when disrespecting. Sometimes feeling neglected, but definitely down to wreck shit when it needs to be wrecked. Same hotel room check-in, dapper Dan suits and boots coordinated flexing, deliver the toast at my wedding, always hyped to see you no matter the setting, say what's on my mind and heart to you straight, no edits. We could fill a whole subreddit with all the drama we done struggled through and overcame and did it together type love. Type of love that fits like a glove is so natural. People don't ask who the other is because they don't have to. Ain't no doubts about who's backing you. Peas in the pie type like hugs with both arms after long flights, or long nights, or short nights, or marital fights. Don't care who's watching, because what's wrong with love type. This that transcendent love. It goes across time and space, ideology and race. Hurdles and trials and tribulations hurdle and pass clearly make you my ace. And some think my deck is overcoded to the point Some thinking my deck is overloaded to the point I got a cheat code, but no. He's just my bros. Squad deep and close like Mikey, Raph, Don, and Leo. Dumb shit like Knoxville and Steve-O. On point like Morpheus and Neo. Not the Prophet and Khadijah, but him and Abu Bakr. Our connection is vast, deep, and not completely explored like the ocean blue. See, I'll kill for you. Die for you. Sometimes even lie for you. But most of all, I'll forgive for you. I'll live for you. I almost have to. We shared highs and lows, the grandest dreams and the innermost fears. Laughs and rages, blood, sweat, and tears. This, that, I could destroy you if I wanted to, but that's something I would never do type love. We could go years without seeing each other and it would feel like yesterday. We run it different from our fathers, so I'll never be afraid to say just how much I love you. Is there more water? I started a trend. So I kind of want to take you guys on a bit of an arc, like conceptually, where we get a little bit of my identity, a little bit of the love that I share for people, and the next piece is kind of how that love manifests, even in dark times. I remember when you couldn't say the D sound in any words. It was hilarious, especially when your favorite character was Ano Uck, and you'd always say both names no matter what. But the obituary won't talk about that. It won't say how you hated asparagus but loved artichokes, or how one summer you fell in love with boats after one fishing trip, or that one day you took 4 ground balls to your little lip and even I wanted you to stop, but you just wouldn't quit. I always loved your heart, your will, your amazing spirit. Your mom will always ask me, what should we do with him? Even when you were the littlest one around, you always had a huge presence, and now, looking at you laying there, you seem tiny. I now understand why ancient Kemetics filled the grave with so many presents. The value of life casts a giant shadow over worldly things. Pictures and eulogies can't begin to actually capture your essence. It's an easy way to encapsulate a human. It puts you 6 feet under so your body doesn't rise back up, but all the dirt and all the world wouldn't be enough weight to keep your spirit from ascending to the place where it belongs. Can't compare to what's on my shoulders and in my heart, now that we're so far apart. I don't want to fight. I just want things to be right. Wish I could go back in time and bring you home that night. Hold you in my arms and tell you it'll be all right. It's too early for you to join the army of the light. But God knows better than we do, right? He knows why you were shot on sight, why the paramedics weren't called and you died on sight, why you bled out because no one pressed the wound on tight, why the killer sped away and got away, leaving you to fight for your life, a struggle no child should have. We shouldn't be here talking about your life in the past. I shouldn't have to take the court system to task, the type of drama that'll make a man turn to a flask. And no indictment means that'll never lose a stipend. Back on the streets endangering people's lives, and for what? Like we don't got enough struggle and strife? And every day I feel like I gotta apologize to my wife, wondering if your older sister will ever sleep through the night? Because of fear? Because of something to prove? Because you weren't enough? What's it take for someone's life to be sufficient? Don't it matter you always on a mission to spread love? And that's how you pass? All alone in the dust? And I'm not supposed to get back at the ones that took you from us? As hard as it is, I'm gonna do what we believe. I'm gonna swallow my pride and roll up my sleeves and love harder than I ever have before. See, when you take a life, you become an inextricable part of the ones that are left. An eye for an eye leaves everyone blind, and I guess that's God's ultimate test, to search deep within ourselves and find mercy and forgiveness. Can we find care for those not as blessed as we are? Can I find compassion for your killer? Is there a place that deep in my heart? If there is, I'll find it. I'll do it for you. I'll do it for him. And maybe one day, I'll do it for him.